Welcome to Bleed Blue Sports. Joe Judge fires offensive line coach Mark Colombo for insubordination. Reporter fight is fake. Giants head coach fired offensive line coach Mark Colombo on Wednesday for insubordination after a heated Tuesday night argument at the team's practice facility in East Rutherford. There was no physical fight. Multiple sources reported that there were multiple punches thrown between Judge and Colombo were completely false. Nothing physical. There was definitely not a fight, one source says. Here's what happened. Colombo was ticked off when Judge told him Tuesday night that he had recently hired a veteran offensive line coach and former Patriots colleague, Dave DeGuglielmo, as a Giants consultant. A hiring that happened last week, but was not known yet publicly. The conversation between coaches quickly turned into an unprofessional argument, sources said, and Judge canned Colombo for good. Judge's plan wasn't to fire Colombo, sources said. It was to bring in DeGuglielmo as a complementary resource to address their obvious inconsistency on the offensive line. Judge has spent more time coaching the offensive line himself in practices in recent weeks, per sources. Adding DeGuglielmo could give the O-line that help it needed from an experienced coach and free Judge up. The Giants have allowed the third most sacks, 31, in the league, and number 4 overall pick Andrew Thomas struggled at left tackle in the first half of his rookie year. Colombo's unprofessional reaction and the loud and heated ensuing argument, however, prompted Judge to fire him just 10 games into their Giants' tenure together. Now, instead of hiring DeGuglielmo as a consultant, Judge is instilling him as the new offensive line coach during the bye week. We appreciate what Mark has done, but I felt like this move is in the best interest of the team, Judge said in a team statement released Wednesday afternoon. The Fox radio report of a fistfight between Judge and Colombo, meanwhile, was unusual because neither coach has much incentive to trash the other. They're represented by the same engine. Judge had to take action, though, to stay consistent with the message of accountability he consistently delivers to his team. Judge recently suspended wide receiver Golden Tate for a game because of unprofessional behavior on and off the field, including a ban from the Giants' November 4th practice after a long meeting with Tate the day prior. So if Judge wanted to practice consistency he preaches as a zero-tolerance coach, and most importantly, assure his players there are no double standards, he had to approach an insubordinate coach like Colombo as he would as an insubordinate player. Judge's mantra is that he will do whatever it takes whenever it is required in the interest of the collective team. Each coach and every player has to be team first, Judge, 38, said earlier this month when discussing Tate. There are no exceptions to that. I'm not going to tolerate and put up with any kind of selfish behavior from anyone, coach or player. It's not going to happen. Each coach is held accountable, like every player is held accountable. It starts with me. To fire Colombo as abruptly as Judge did on Wednesday reinforces that he's in charge and his ownership's full support. No small fact for a young, first-time head coach. Judge also now reunites with DeGuglielmo, 52, who was a finalist for the Giants' offensive line job in January, and looked like a leading contender until Judge hired Colombo. Colombo came to New York with offensive coordinator Jason Garrett after their Dallas Cowboys firings. Under Garrett, Daniel Jones' development has been stagnant at best, and the Giants are averaging just 19.5 points per game. Only the Bears, 19.1, and the Jets, 13.4, score less often. The Giants have been rotating 3 offensive line tackles at 2 spots, and we're beginning to rotate guards on the interior as well, in an attempt to both get better production and to develop young talent. I think with our young offensive line situation, we don't really have any established players, Garrett said, matter-of-factly last week. We don't have guys who have played a long time and are kind of locked in. The good news is that Jones and the offense fared better in last Sunday's win over the Eagles. So now the hope is that DeGuglielmo, a familiar face to both Judge and the Giants, will team with assistant O-line coach Ben Wilkerson to help strengthen the unit up front. DeGuglielmo got a start in coaching as a Boston College graduate assistant under Tom Coughlin in 1991/92. He later was the Giants' assistant offensive line coach for 5 seasons under Coughlin and O-line coach Pat Flaherty from 2004 to 2008, winning Super Bowl 42. De Guglielmo, Judge, and Giants quarterbacks coach Jerry Shaplinski then were all on Patriots staff together in 2004 to 2015. Judge was a special teams assistant and coordinator. De Guglielmo was Bill Belichick's O-line coach. Shaplinski was an offensive line assistant. De Guglielmo then spent a season apiece with the Chargers and Dolphins before following Patriots offensive line coordinator Josh McDaniels to Indianapolis in 2018. But when McDaniels backed out of the job, De Guglielmo lasted just one season on Frank Reich's staff before being fired. He replaced Flaherty with the Dolphins during training camp last summer, coaching Brian Flores' Miami O-line for a season, with Shaplinski as the Dolphins' assistant QB's coach. And now, De Guglielmo joined Big Blue to more fanfare than he probably expected, to be sure. Thank you for watching the first Bleed Blue Sports video. I'm your host, Jules. I'll be back with you with the next one. Bleed Blue Sports. Let's go Giants!